You've been in these seats hundreds of times before, and perhaps dreamed about being on the big screen. Is there any reason why you can't be up there, or in a television show, or even a commercial? Hello, I'm Scott.
And I'm Jen from Nemours. We put together this unique program in order to show you how to break into the entertainment business. We took our cameras behind closed doors in order to get insights from some of the top agents, directors, producers, and casting directors in the business.
This is one show you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Tia Marie Schroeder.
And I'm Chris Hurt. Welcome to Acting 101.
We're here at Paramax Studios, and it's one of the largest production facilities on the East Coast. And it's on sound stages just like this where many of the TV shows, commercials, and movies you've seen were made.
That's right, and that's why we're here. This video is going to provide you with a lot of the information and the expert opinion and advice from industry professionals that you need to become a working actor yourself.
So what do you say we get started?
All right, sounds good to me. Getting started, by the way, is something we refer to in the industry as breaking in.
A good way to break in is to find a location that is going to have the most opportunities for your needs.
That's right, but first we want to talk a little about focus and goals, something our experts know an awful lot about. Take a look.
If you decide that the film industry or the television industry is the career for you, you absolutely have to have focus. You absolutely have to set goals for yourself because there's nobody else there to set them. There is no industry ladder to climb.
You need to set very attainable goals first. I mean, I have very specific goals for long term, wild fame and fortune being a couple of them, but initially you just say, look, I gotta get my headshots, and then after you get your headshots, say, okay, I'm gonna try to market myself to agents. Okay, I got an agent. Now I'm gonna try to book myself for just non-paying, very minor gigs to get some things on the resume. You get a couple things like that.
So I think it's very important to make sure that you're living in an area that has these opportunities, because not all areas do. So if you have to take the risk and move to someplace that's a little bit larger market, has a little bit more television, film, and performance activity, then I definitely recommend you do that.
Once you've worked your skills up, I'm not saying go to LA or go to New York cold, because if you haven't kind of learned the process and you haven't got those basic skills, those towns will, eat you up and spit you out like in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and you'll never come back to acting because you'll go out there and be devastated.
Let me draw a quick comparison for you. There are 100,000 dues-paying Screen Actors Guild actors in LA County, which is only a small part of what's called Metro Los Angeles. There are several other counties comprising that market. In the entire state of Florida, which is Miami and Gainesville and Jacksonville and Orlando, there are 4,000 working actors.
If you're in a small town, that's the best place to start. It's harder to break into the big business of acting and modeling in a bigger city than it is in a smaller town.
I absolutely quit my job and got a job and I told my employer that my number one priority was acting. And just in saying that alone, just actually speaking that made me feel much more serious about the choices that I was making. That's when I started to really feel like I am an actress. That's right.
Probably a lot of the reason I was as successful as I have been is 100% availability.
You have to find an actor-friendly job, a job that's going to give you flexibility. And I think that's the most important thing in approaching the acting business is you have to be flexible.
Flexibility. Sounds like good advice.
I think so. Also, it's important to be a versatile actor as well. Most people think of actors as only working on TV, film, and commercials, which can earn $500 to $600 a day. You know, through residuals on a national union commercial, you could earn $50,000 or more. But it's not the only way to make money.
That's right. In fact, in my case, for example, I earn about half of my income from something called industrial work. But it's by no means the only path from which to choose.
Spokes, or a spokesperson, is just that. It is the person standing up in front of you, giving you information about anything. It could be a live car commercial. It could be at a convention. It could be an infomercial. It could be about vitamins. It could be any information, but is you delivering that information in a warm, friendly, and authoritative way. Right now I'm doing a job where I get $500 for 3 hours worth of time, but my actual labor, the work I'm doing, is I'm on camera 40 minutes.
Extra work is a great opportunity. It is not beneath anybody. You know, it gives you the chance to learn, to be discovered, to just feel more confident about yourself. It is definitely a plus. There's nothing that is uncool or unglamorous about doing extra work. The range of extra work varies from $50 to $150 a day.
Doing stunt work, I work over 40 hours a week doing stunt work, 8 hours a day, every day. I'm married, I have a house, I have a motorcycle, I have everything I want, full-time job. And then when the big movies come to town, of course I do those. And then I go back to doing my steady work, doing stunt work and acting on the side. We do non-union films and we base our scale on $300 a day, depending on what we're doing. Of course, if it's only half a day, we're very adjustable because it's a non-union at that point. SAG, of course, we go at least the SAG minimum, which it's up in the 500s a day, something like that for SAG minimum. I think it's $596 a day right now.
Voiceover work can entail a wide variety of work. It can be radio and television commercials. It can be industrial films, that is training films, that kind of thing. You can get into animation, where you're creating some kind of an animated character, cartoon character, or a computer animated character. I even have done voiceover work for things like airports and shopping malls and that sort of thing. As a voiceover artist, my current going rate in this marketplace is $125 for the first hour, $75 for every hour of studio time thereafter. Although if I get into a situation where I'm doing national or regional commercials, it's an entirely different type of configuration, and it involves residuals and that sort of thing.
I got into the acting business several years ago, basically as a severe need to express myself, and most of my income comes from stand-up comedy. I've done a lot of independent films as well, but stand-up comedy is where I started off at and what really got the acting bug into me. You can be making $200 for 3 shows, which would entail maybe 3 hours of work a night. Also something else, NACA, the National Association of Campus Activities. A lot of stand-up comedians do that and just travel around from different colleges, and that's excellent work if you can get it. I'm actually working on that right now, and that's $1,000 per show.
The other thing I really like about convention work is that you're meeting people all the time. So you can network and you can, and a lot of the companies, of course, do a lot of other advertising other than convention work to get their product out there. So if they like you and you do a good job, it can lead to other things. You can do commercial for them, or an industrial, or some kind of training video for them. Convention work, you can make pretty much average between $150 to $250 a day for just hostessing. There's other things. If you're demonstrating a product, that's usually $225 to $300. If you're doing a character, that's pretty much $225 and up. If you're doing narration normally starts around $400 and up from there for a day rate.
Well, an industrial is usually a video, and an actor gets to perform on the video, usually selling a product or a company, and sometimes even training employees for a company. Depending on the role, you'll probably get anything from $50 to $1,000.
Digital media. And when I say digital media, I'm talking about the internet and streaming video, or interactive presentations and CD-ROMs. This is a growing industry that you need to pay attention to. The pay scale for digital media varies widely, very similar to the corporate industrial market, but I've seen it average around $400 or $500 a day.
I always get a laugh when people say, ask me what I'm doing, and I tell them that I'm modeling, and they say, you can't be a model, you're not Vogue or GQ or some supermodel that, well, it's lifestyle modeling. They have to have real people sometimes, and in many areas of the country there is no fashion modeling. There is lifestyle modeling. The guy next door who's buying the product, or the guy next door who isn't buying the product, that gets, that learns in the commercial or the print job what it is.
By the way, there are a couple of different ways to model. There's print work, which could average about $125 an hour, and there's also runway, which could average about $300 a day, so it's not bad.
That's right. Also, depending on where you live in the country, it can be worth your while to work as an entertainer in a theme park. That can earn you about $150 a day. Also, we want to mention theater. Now, the pay scale in theater can vary widely from place to place, but for experience, working on stage can be unparalleled. Also, last but not least, we want to mention one of my favorites, working as a stand-in. What is a stand-in? Well, quite simply, it's an actor who's hired to arrive before the principal or star onto the set. He stands in while the sound and the lights and the cameras are all set up and adjusted. Working as a stand-in can earn you between $100 and $250 a day.
Thanks, Chris. In this next segment, we're going to talk about knowing your type.
The actors who do the best, I've found, career-wise, people that I know that are friends of mine, are the people who understand exactly what they are as a person or as an actor. And if you're a nerdy, geeky guy, don't go out and think that you're going to get leading man roles or the tough guy roles or whatever. Concentrate on being the nerdy, geeky guy.
When I first started to act, I didn't have a definition of what character or type I should play. And of course, I thought I might be some sort of a love interest. So I was playing the role with the toupee and trying to dress probably too young for my age. When I realized that I was a little bit older, I got more bookings when I started playing my actual age, gave up the toupee, and just started being the guy next door.
I'm not like necessarily that leading girl kind of type actress or the young mom type actress. I tend to fall into the more of the quirky best friend or like the indie kind of off the wall kind of character. And
the most important thing I did was locking in on what my type was and what my package was that was ready to sell. I did that first. A lot of people jump into, I've got to get my headshots and get out there. Yes, you do, but I think the step before that a lot of people miss is really examining themselves and the package that they have, that they can sell immediately. What does this look say? This is not mom, warm oven, chocolate chip cookies. This is a salesperson. This is a news reporter. This is a spokesperson or MC.
Producers and directors want human beings on screen. And the more you look like a movie star, the more you may be cutting yourself out from a lot of opportunities. So don't get too hung up about being perfect in terms of your looks.
Here's a tip for you to help you figure out your type. Go to a public place, such as a mall or even an airport, where I've done it before, and take surveys from complete strangers. And this is what you ask. You want to go to these people and ask them to give you their first impressions of who you are. You can ask questions like, how old do you think I am? What do you think I do for a living? What kind of car would I be driving? That helps you get a consensus, a broad consensus from the general public as to exactly what type of character you ought to be playing. And once you know that type,
it's time to get a headshot.
Yeah, that's me.
A headshot in the acting business is your calling card, your business card.
Here are the 3 rules for a basic headshot. Despite what everyone else will tell you, it needs to be a black and white, it needs to be 8x10, and it needs to look like you.
I was with a production company that doing part of a series of shoots, and one of the ladies who showed up to the set was so much older than her headshot portrayed her to be, they sent her home and used the makeup girl.
I guess the thing is the photos should really accurately capture who you are.
You have to trust, again, your judgment and your instincts. The most important thing is to find a list, your SAG office oftentimes has this, a list of all of the photographers in the area and go and interview them just like anybody else. Remember that these people are working for you. They're there to get the best picture of you that's possible, what's going to make you work.
Once you've finished your photo session, it's time to pick out a headshot. But do yourself a favor. Let someone that you trust, already established in the industry, help you pick out that headshot. Also, when you go to get it duplicated, go to a business that specializes in duplicating headshots.
Once you've done that, it's time to tackle your resume.
I guess the thing that gets me most is not what's on the front, but what's on the back. And if it's and if I see real commitment and I'm impressed with the kinds of things the person's done, and it seems like they're making opportunities for themselves, then I'm much more inclined to want to be in a room with this person.
The first thing they need to see is your phone number, page number, and so on and so forth, so they can get in contact with you. Because if not, it starts to look very slim, getting that job. Because if I'm a director, the harder it is to get to you, the more I don't want you in my production.
Training is very important. The kind of things that they have done. Theater is very important to me personally. I like to see theater listed on a resume. Back again to student films, I think that's important. Commercial work, anything that indicates where the actor has been and what he's done, no matter how minuscule.
If I were living in New York, I would put on my resume that I could drive, because it may be something a little bit different than if I were in LA. Because LA is, definitely a much more driving commuter type city, whereas New York's a subway commuter type city. So driving in New York would definitely be a skill that I would consider important to have on my resume, because it could afford me many more jobs.
So the training, taking courses, again, getting together with other people, practicing on your own camera.
Get in front of a camera. Go buy a camera and two actors film each other and do scenes and do monologue. Learn the camera. Learn to play the camera.
I don't care how big the name is, and I'm talking about some of the biggest in the world. They're all taking lessons, they're all learning, they're all constantly improving. And just because you finish that one little introductory class or watch this tape doesn't mean that you're going to be a professional. You have to keep at it every day. Times are changing, you got to keep up.
One final point about breaking into the industry. Remember, acting is like any other profession. It requires school training. The more training you have, the better actor you'll be. It's as simple as that. Your best source for information on schools in your area will be other working actors who can steer you to the best and most reputable. Remember, an actor is only as good as his training. One note of caution, when you're printing your resume, it's a good idea for your safety to leave off any personal contact information, such as your home address. Also, it's a good idea to leave off your age. The only exception to that, if you're a child, it's expected that your date of birth appear on your resume.
Now, how do you build your resume?
The beginning actor should try to do as much extra work as possible. The hours are long, working conditions are not always great, but there is no better way than to get a feel of how it is to be on set, to get a sense of what it is to work with other people, than to do extra work. And so when the time comes that the actor has an opportunity to actually act, he will know what to do, hopefully.
I like independent movies because there are a lot of them, first of all. A lot of them, and most independent movies, they go on a, what they call deferred scale, where you don't get paid until the movie sells. Therefore, they can't be as picky as, they can't get the stars, they can have the big name actors, and they use local talent a lot.
As an actor, just do plays, do student films, do short films, produce your own film, whatever it takes, but just start doing it.
And a lot of actors go, well, I don't want to do student films. Very few people. I would have a real problem saying, I'm doing a new film next year and I have some big name actors, and saying, well, the person you're doing the scene with today has never been in a movie, has never been on a set, they're a beginner, but we think they're going to do this okay, and the 70 crew guys and the investors and everybody standing around watching, we think it's going to be okay. No, they want to know this guy has done these 7 movies, this guy's a pro, this guy's ready to come in and do the lines. So you got to, where's vaudeville for actors? Student films.
If it's like a student final project, they'll do it on 35 millimeter, and you'll get a copy of it when you're done. And you never know. One of these directors or whatever you work with could go on to be the next Spielberg or something, and it's great. You meet a lot of people, and you get to do what you want to do. You get to do film acting.
Acting is an exciting profession, but you do have to be cautious. Here are some of the most common industry scams.
I find it frustrating because I see so many people being just enticed by these programs, and they're told to pay $500 or $2,000, and if they pay $2,000, this person will make sure that they meet a casting director from this area. Oh, you want to go to LA? Okay, we'll train you here, and we'll bring in a casting director from LA, and we'll introduce you, and you'll get to audition. Well, hey, guess what? That doesn't mean you get a part. And if you live on the other side, on the East Coast, and that company's in LA on the West Coast, why would they want to bring in an unknown, fly them all the way out to California to be in their show? It makes no sense whatsoever. So you just got to think, this is a fun place to be, and it's a fun career, but you've got to use your head. And that's what a lot of people forget. They forget the business part of acting.
Everyone in this industry is looking to make money, okay? Especially agents, especially directors. If you look at me from an agent's point of view and you think that I'm going to make you money, then you're not going to ask me for anything. It's all going to be, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to say, well, it's going to cost you $600 because I'm going to be making you tons of money. So if you really believe in me, then it's not going to cost me anything. You're going to be enthusiastic. You're going to want to get me in there as quickly as possible.
Let's say I'm a talent agent and you're an actor, and I say, oh, you've got to pay me a registration fee of $500 before I can represent you. And you've got to go to my photographer, you've got to go to my classes, and you've got to do all these other things. That's illegal.
Before we move on to a different topic, we do have a horror story to share with you that can illustrate the dangers you can sometimes face in the acting business. The young lady that you're about to meet had a recent heartbreaking experience with scam artists, and she agreed to share her story with us on camera.
The most important lesson that I've learned recently is that I was duped. I've been through scams, and it's important for me to say that because I'm not stupid. I was, in the honors program at a major university in North Carolina on my way to doing what everybody else wanted me to do. And I took time to follow my dream, which is really important, and I encourage anybody to do. But in doing so, I jumped feet first into this scam not because I'm stupid and not because I didn't do my research and I wasn't reading or I'm gullible, but because I believed people. They told me what I wanted to hear. They showed me pictures of people doing what I wanted to be doing and told me, well, we can help you get there. Who wouldn't believe that? I mean, when you believe something and want something so badly, it's easy for people to rip you off. And these people know that. And part of the reason I had to take time off from school was because I had some money in the bank from scholarships and from my parents a little bit and from financial aid, and that's the money I used to pay for those pictures. For this photo shoot, I spent $900 because there were 6 rolls of film at $150 each. $500 for the studio, making it $1,400 for about 5 hours of shooting. Makeup and hair, including hair extensions, $1,300, then $100, then $450, then $200, all just to get the right look. And then when it came time for printing, 3 different pictures with 1,500 copies of each, $729 each, making the total cost for me to have 3 pictures to send out $5,637. Don't listen to the promises that other people tell you. And I guess the biggest clue would be if they say they've shot all these famous people and they're showing you pictures, why do they have an ad in the Yellow Pages? Or an ad on the internet? And why are there not people banging down their door? Because they're lying. And they will lie. And I guess being from a small town and being from a wholesome family, you don't think people will lie to you in a business because it's not good business practice. They don't care about good business practice. All they want is your money.
Unfortunately, there's a number of what I call predators out there that are looking to prey upon people who want to become stars. So what they do, and there's one situation of this girl, and she's 13 years old. Her parents took a week off from work. They paid a so-called business manager almost $2,000 so that they could fly out to Los Angeles, and they were promised all these things that, this would break their daughter into show business. And what ultimately happened is they went out there, they went for a photo shoot and an audition with an agent who never got her any parts or anything, and that was it. And so basically, this family was out a week of work, $2,000, and it was very depressing and frustrating.
I believe that any actor has to study SAG rules. Anything that SAG goes by, obviously it's a union for a reason. They're trying to protect actors. And even if you as an actor don't ever want to join the union, you should still know those rules because they're set for a reason. And so that an actor doesn't get taken advantage of.
To find work as an actor, you have to have professional representation. After getting headshots and some training under your belt, it's time to get an agent.
I don't believe that an actor new to the profession needs a business manager right from the start. You need an agent or agents.
An agent's primarily function is to get an actor the opportunity for auditions. The actor gets his own job. Actors frequently say, oh, my agent got me this job. Your agent didn't do diddly-do for you getting the job. The actor got the job. The agent gets you the opportunity to audition. The agent markets the actor via demo reels, talking to casting directors, production people about various projects that they feel the actor would be good for. We make our money from commissions derived from the actors who've earned money by doing their craft. If it's a $500 gig, we get either 10% if it's a union or 15% sometimes if it's non-union. And that's how we get our money. We have to have a lot of working actors.
You want to send your headshot, your resume, and a cover letter. And even if you don't have a resume yet, just put the things that somehow might pertain to your acting career on there, even if there's not one thing that you've done yet. Say, for instance, that you've played baseball for 8 years, or that you've got great teeth, or something along, that thought process if you have nothing to show for it.
The best way to get an agent is to, of course, at the beginning, submit headshots and resumes. You have to have a decent resume to really get started in the business. And by decent, I mean studying, having beginning credits, doing some commercial work, student films. You have to be very, very persistent. If you're not persistent, you're not going to get a response. You have to have a good headshot. You asked that question earlier. Headshot's really got to be what I call a stopper. It has to say something. There has to be a lot going on in the eyes. That's how you begin.
For a long time when I was in this business, I was with about 4 or 5, 6 different agents. And I would have to call them every week. What's going on? What's happening? And I'd find that a lot of times none of them would call me, or 4 of them would call me for the same audition. And so then I'd be all stressed, which agent do I go with? And they're going to be mad I can't go with 3 other ones or whatever. And I find the advantages of being with a small agent that's exclusive is that, you can actually ask them, how many of my type do you have? And they'll tell you that 4. We have 4 of your type. We don't want any more than 4. So there's not an A list or a B list. You're always on the call list, and you don't have to worry about bugging them and keeping up so much with the whole hassle of, hi, it's me, remember me, when they have 2,000 other people to deal with.
Once we get busy, I don't have time to talk to anybody. And not out of rudeness, I just don't have time to talk to anybody. I will call an actor back in the evening sometimes if he has a particular question that he needs to be resolved.
But the more honest and open and professional you can be with your agent, the better you're going to be in the long run, because that relationship hopefully will last a long time.
Okay, you've got an agent and you've gotten a phone call for an audition. Here is some very critical information that you must have before heading out the door.
I got Reggie Johnson on line 1.
Yeah, Brigitte, he's mine. I'll be right with him. Hey, Reggie, this is Trish. How you doing?
Great. You got something cool for me?
I sure do. Let me get my notes. Okay, it's a regional Rooms to Go commercial tomorrow, 1:30.
What's the shoot date on this?
It's shooting either November 9th or 10th. We don't know yet.
Looks good. And callbacks?
No callbacks. Just nail this audition and you're in.
This is non-union, right?
Right, non-union.
And the pay?
It pays $500.
Is there any buyout attached?
No, not at this point. It's just one holiday commercial. Okay, you need to go to Universal Studios, building number 22, first floor conference room.
Dress?
Standard young dad, khakis, polo. It's perfect. It's just perfect for you.
Is there any script?
Yes, it's really short. Can I tell you?
Well, can you fax it over? My fax is 853-4607.
Okay, you're all set right. Do you need directions?
No, I've got them. Oh, and who's casting? It's Ellen Jacoby, right?
Right. Listen, Reggie, you're all set. I've got to go. Good luck.
Now we're going to learn more about auditions and the casting process.
Of utmost importance is to be prepared. And if you can't be prepared, the decision is made probably within the first 30 seconds to eliminate you from consideration.
So when you walk into a room, it's really, really important that you stay in your own space. Do not look at other people and try to compare yourself with other people, especially as a woman. Girls tend to do this a lot, you know. I'm not as pretty as the other girl, or I'm too pretty, or whatever. Just sit there and be in yourself, you know. Concentrate on what it is that you're doing and try not to be too critical.
It's an automatic no when I hear such things as, oh, I'm a bit nervous. This is my first audition. I don't want to know that. And I don't want to put my name on a recommendation with somebody of that caliber.
Different directors are looking for different things. I think, you know, being willing to be flexible and, you know, like this actress clearly came in and saw that if she's a, you know, I'm assuming she was a good read of people, that like she was coming into like somebody who was just not paying attention. So she went with it, you know. She didn't get upset and throw the audition. She said, all right, I can't make chit chat with him. I'm gonna wow him a different way. I'm gonna get into the part and do it that way.
When I said my real name, Jane Van Bemden, my mouth contorted and I looked funny. I had a previous name, that was Jane Dixon. And when you say Dixon, you smile, and that's a much better image in front of a casting director. So I took the appropriate steps so that I can legally use the name Dixon. And it's shorter too, and people couldn't understand my last name, and so it worked out much better. Everybody understands Dixon.
I expect somebody coming into my audition to come across with good old-fashioned missionary zeal. You are just oozing enthusiasm, and you've got it thoroughly convinced of yourself that you're the right person for the part.
I went in there with much more enthusiasm, courage, confidence, and that's when I really started booking things.
If the attitude is, you know, oh, well, I'm late, that tells me a lot about your professional ability, and I have a major problem with that. I mean, I have a limited amount of time. Generally, after the audition, I have to duplicate tapes and get them to various parts of the country for more than one person to take a look at. And I like to review what I've done so I can make my recommendations. And anything that takes away or detracts from my performing my job, I got a problem with.
It is important in some way as an actor to try to make a connection to the director, which may not happen. There's plenty of times where, you know, you're sitting there seeing person after person after person. Like, you don't want somebody to come in and be chatty. It's like you've already had 15 sort of idle chit-chat conversations with people in a row, and you're burned out.
To begin with, I'd advise an actor never, never, never book an audition unless you've talked to your agent and have a thorough understanding about what the part is requiring. What is the age range? What is the sex of the person? I mean, I've had people come in for a clearly female role and they're a male and didn't get it. And how is the scene being described that they'll be participating in? And are there any sides or scripts available? What is the time of the audition and where is it? And I always encourage people to come dressed in character or something in character to show that they know what's going on. You never, never book an audition knowing that you might not be able to be there. I mean, that is an absolute no-no. And you should always take into account and in consideration for any possible conflicts. As an example, had a wonderful commercial for Ford Motor Company that would have made a budding young actor here $45,000 to $60,000 for getting the role. To find out that this person did not disclose they did a local Oldsmobile commercial, and that eliminated them from future consideration. Conflicts are very important, and you have to be honest about it. You never compromise your ethical or moral values. So you have to know what the film or the tape is all about, and know in advance if there's going to be any callbacks or when the project shoots. I mean, it's senseless to be to an audition knowing that it's going to shoot in 2 weeks and you're going to be out of town for a month. You're wasting the casting director's time, your agent's slot, and you make yourself look less than professional. You arrive on time, and this is not a time to socialize with everybody else competing for that job.
I believe in networking after an audition, never before. I will say hello to people, but I wait until the audition is over, and then if we have some time, let's go for coffee or a sandwich.
I choose actors, and make that call and say that this is what I want in the film, in a lot of different ways.
We were looking for people who not only, looked like the characters that the directors had imagined, and not only who had incredibly good improvisational skills, but also somebody who had an intelligence and a sense of imagination that would bring something new to the process.
This is the only business where 95% of it is rejection. And when you are rejected, do not take it personal.
If you do a good job auditioning, you may not get the part, but like with Taye Diggs, a year and a half after he auditioned for a film he didn't get and probably went home depressed, a casting director was speaking to a director in an office in Hollywood saying, I know exactly who you're going to cast in this role, and I'm not even going to let you audition anyone else till you meet this guy.
Well, next up, we've got a real treat for you. In fact, I wish I'd been able to see something like this when I first decided to become an actor. We want to take you inside an actual audition.
We got permission from RJR Fashion Fabrics to follow an actor step by step through her audition. Take a look.
All right, my makeup is ready. My hair looks good. Make sure I have everything. My pager is on vibrate. I have a water bottle full of water. My calendar appointment book is in here. At least 3 headshots. And I have business cards. We're good. All right, we're here 15 minutes early. This is what it's all about. Let's do it.
Hey, Nikki. Hey, Rachel. Oh my God. How are you?
Good. Good. Let's hook up after the audition.
Okay, go.
Hi.
Hey,
Good. Thank you.
You're here for the audition,
Yes.
right? Okay, go ahead and just sign in. And
Actually, are there any changes to the script?
I think there might be. Here, let me go ahead and give you this copy, and then you can check it out, okay?
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, I've had a chance to look over the lines. There's really not that many changes. But a couple things that you might want to notice is that I did not sign in as soon as I walked in, because if you walk in immediately and sign in, they can call you back and you can do your audition. And you didn't have a chance to look over any script changes. So when you come in, ask for the script changes before you sign in. The second thing you might want to notice is that everybody else here was sitting down. Definitely don't sit down. You don't want to sit down because it sucks the energy right out of you. You want to keep the energy up, so keep standing up throughout the whole time you're waiting out here. And now that I'm ready, I've checked out the changes, I'm ready to go sign in.
Hi, you ready to sign in now?
I'm all set.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Number 18, Nikki Knight.
That's me.
Okay, right this way.
Thank you.
This is Nikki Knight. This is the casting director, John Frieda.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Just found your mark over there. I do. All right. I'd like you to slate your name, agent, and favorite color quilt.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nikki Knight. I'm represented by the Stars Agency, and my favorite color quilt is baby blue.
When you're ready.
RJR. That stands for Robert and his two sons, James and Richard, who have created a vision in the quilting fabric industry. RJR has preserved 3 generations traced back to the family's wool mills in Portland, Oregon. When you buy any RJR fabric, you are covered by our 100% money-back guarantee. You even have a direct line to the president if you have any questions. While you may not find our fabric in the largest chain and discount stores, that's okay. We are not known as the biggest in the industry, but we are known as the best. We want to keep it that way.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We should have callbacks by Thursday.
I look forward to it.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Number 19. Hi.
Hi, my name is Nikki Knight. I'm
Hey, Stephanie, we had some good ones today, huh? I want to get this out to LA real quick, right? There you go.
No problem.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That was a typical audition, but keep in mind they do vary.
By the way, Nikki did not book that particular job, but she was cast in a feature film, a new release called Jack of All Trades. Once you've started working as an actor, you soon realize that it's not just the time you spend in front of the camera that counts. It may be your talent or your appearance that got you the job, but it's your professionalism on the set that will keep you working.
If he doesn't behave in a professional manner, then he is not only demeaning himself, he's demeaning the agency. And he needs to act as a professional would. And that is not only being on time, but doing what he's told to do, staying where he's supposed to, keep his hands off of a hot set, and not getting in people's way, not being away from the set and they have to go look for him. Things like that.
Production time costs money. You can't be late. They might be spending $10,000 an hour or $50,000 an hour to rent equipment, and they have, for example, a shoot that has a specific time frame during an attraction when it's closed, or a restaurant is closed for certain hours, and we're shooting during those hours. They can't fool around. You know, if the restaurant reopens at 7 a.m., you have to have your shoot done and be out of there. So being late is probably the biggest offense of the acting business.
But it's very important to be extremely professional anytime you're on a set. I mean, that gets noticed. And again, back to the networking thing and referral type business. If people like the way you've behaved on set, acted professionally, people like to work with people they like. And you'll get repeat business.
It's really important to be positive. It's really important to be the one person that's smiling after 14 hours because people like to work around happy people. It doesn't mean be cheesy and fake. It just means be up. You know, don't hang out with the people that are complaining in the corner, or, you know, just don't do it. Stay far, far away from them. It's probably going to be a long day, and you don't need to have that negativity, and it shines on you. I mean, other people notice it, and it's a bad situation, and you'll find that on just about every set.
I find that when you're on the set, first of all, it's really important to be on time. And second of all, a lot of times the night before, you know, your agent will say, well, bring you know, a couple different changes of clothes, bring at least 3. And in my experience, it seems like no one does. It seems like they'll wear what they have and they'll bring maybe like one thing or whatever, and it gets really frustrating. The casting director was really annoyed at some person that I was with because she only had one thing. And, you know, she wasn't my size, so she couldn't fit in anything else, and it's very important, I find, that you bring, you know, at least 3 different things.
The most important thing for me, for an actor arriving on set, is for them to know their lines, which I've had the experience of some people not knowing their lines. And that's about it. And then just an actor willing to work.
Pick up a script, and a script that has a page, and it just has what's typed on it, is a bad actor. let me pick up a script that has writing and notes and color codings and graphs and little notes where an actor has really broken that page down, and I guarantee you that you're going to get a better performance. Sometimes I'll walk around and I'll ask to see the actor's scripts, and I can tell who's prepared. It starts in the audition and it goes all the way to the set.
As with any profession, you need to take into consideration financial planning, taxes, and budgeting.
And budgeting simply means taking a realistic look at all of your expenses, obviously keeping those to a minimum where possible, while at the same time tracking your income. And remember, being a versatile actor provides you with more sources of income.
There's a lot of very talented people out there. Unfortunately, they don't know how to run a business because you are a business. You've got marketing costs, you've got advertising costs, you've got customer service you need to take care of. You need to treat this as a business. If you can treat it as a business, you can be successful.
As an actor, it's really important to watch your budgeting of your money. And this is in the little things. This isn't coming up with a master plan, but I mean, in all the little ways, how are you spending your money? You know, simple things like rent. Perhaps you don't need to be living by yourself initially. Maybe you need to have some roommates. You know, rent, especially like in New York, is pretty expensive. So maybe you could defray the costs by having a couple of folks, you know, living together and pooling money that way. Another thing is transportation. You know, hopping into a cab all the time, that's going to cost some money, but maybe you need to be thinking about the bus system, subway system, carpooling, other ways that are less expensive. Again, so you're just saving a little, shaving a little money off there. And then those savings that you have with that money, that's what you're going to put into your headshots and your thank you notes and your wardrobe and all the things that you need to be investing in to build your acting career.
I find it very interesting that the majority of headshots that we receive have contact information, yet 95% of the composite cards we receive don't have any contact information. Why is that? How are we supposed to get in touch with you if we want to use you? Here's a great example of somebody just putting a little sticker at the bottom of a composite card so at least we can contact you if we need to use you.
If you can't do what you're supposed to do as a professional, then get out. If you can't afford to get a beeper, goodbye. All of these things are part of professionalism, and I feel very, very strongly about it, as you can tell.
I can't guarantee that you're going to be famous, but sound financial planning can guarantee that you'll be rich. So no matter what you make, you should set aside at least 10% of your income exclusively for investment purposes.
I wish that I had put away $20, $25, $30 a week back then when I first started. But I just didn't give it a thought. I was too involved in my career. And at that age, you don't think about retirement. You figure, you know, I've got a lot of years ahead of me. I can worry about it later. And I didn't do it. I regret it now that I didn't, because had I put 25 or 30 away a week for all the years I've been acting, I'd have a nice nest egg, and I wouldn't have to worry about depending specifically on Social Security or some other form of income.
The importance of dealing with a CPA or a professional in the accounting area who has knowledge in the acting is that they already understand what you should be looking for. They can key you into those things you've forgotten about. Some of the deductions that you might be looking for are acting, wardrobe, telephone, beepers, subscriptions, training. Well, mileage is an important deduction for actors or anybody in business. And since an actor is always going to different auditions, they may be going to places to get photos made, they may be doing any number of things to be aware, make people aware of who they are. It requires you to be places. And every time you get in that vehicle and you drive somewhere, you get 31 cents per mile for that.
Well, we're moving right along, but we'd like to take just a moment to scratch the surface on the topic of unions. Now, most actors will begin their careers in the non-union field, which offers them a lot of valuable experience early on. But eventually, as your skill and confidence level increases, you may have the opportunity to join a union, and doing so offers several advantages. Number one, top wages and residual income. Regulated working conditions, health care and pension plans, not to mention contract assistance.
And contracts are something non-union actors have to pay close attention to.
When an actor's on set and he is in doubt about the contents of a contract, he needs to call the agent immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, I would definitely not have anyone advise anyone to sign this type of contract. I mean, it's very restrictive, especially, I mean, the thing you have to look at, there's a perpetuity clause in here, and that means that you wouldn't be able to sign a similar type of contract with anyone else. And for $500, I mean, this is not something you want to sign. I would certainly not advise any of my clients to do this.
As far as perpetuity goes, a company can buy your image and your likeness and use them for photographs and print work, their commercials, any way that they want to advertise their company from now until the day you die, till you're 90 years old. So say, for instance, I were to become a big movie star, and I'm on some TV show, and this company wants to pull off of their shelf the commercial that I did for them. Well, I still don't get paid any of the money that they're offering, or any of the money that I would have made if I didn't sign this perpetuity clause. And because I'm considered property for them, I can never do another product that would be considered a conflict for that company or that product from now on, as long as that's on the television. So say 30 years from now, I'm doing some kind of soup commercial, and I did some other soup commercial that I signed that kind of contract for, I'll never be able to do that second soup commercial if they decide to put that on the air, because then I could get sued.
Of all the things an actor can do to increase his chances for success, networking may be #1 on the list. But don't just take our word for it. Listen to the experts.
A lot of this business is about networking, really using that resource, because you never know where your headshot will end up. I just shot a pilot for a film that I had met another actor at an audition 2.5 years ago. He still had my headshot, and he called me in for the part.
Make friends with the other actors in town. You'd be surprised how much help they can be in the networking process, so have fun with them too. Exchange ideas. How did you get that student film? What were you doing there? How did they do that scene? There's an exchange of ideas and an open friendliness to other actors. It's not a rivalry. If the business isn't fun, you shouldn't be in it. Have some fun with this business. Have a movie night. Get together. If somebody's done a couple of little clips, and limit that everybody gets 15 or 20 minutes. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame.
I get jobs from other friends. I don't just rely on an agent to get me a job. I'll show up at a set and, well, hey, I meet somebody and they're like, hey, we're working on a show over there. Well, why don't you come out? It's great work, good pay. Okay, cool, rock on.
You find out about an audition through another actor. You're on a shoot. Make sure you always have business cards on you, extra headshots that you can hand them out to the other directors and producers, to other actors that can refer you to another job. So in this business, it's not just how talented you are, it's who you know, it's the last job you worked. It could be the smallest, tiniest little job, and that little job could lead to another big job. So networking is I would say, probably 90% of the battle, 90% of the work for an actor.
I think people have a real stigmatism against networking, because they're like, oh God, I gotta go to this party and I gotta, be so friendly and show up and, cozy up to the director or whoever's there. And I think that's a real reason that people don't like to network, because they feel this pressure that it's this big social thing and they have to overact and be really nice. And I find that if I just go to a party and I just hang out and, someone's next to me and we start a conversation about whatever, doesn't even have to be about acting, that it's so much easier, because you are networking and you don't even realize it. You're just having a good time, you're being yourself, you're meeting people, but you're not trying, and you don't feel this pressure to have to go up to somebody and start a fake conversation about, whatever, something you just thought of 30 seconds ago.
Don't schmooze, just be yourself. If you want to say hello to somebody, say hello, but don't, say hello and then go into this acting kind of networky, schmoozy thing, because for me, it will turn me off in a second.
I don't think there's any merit in networking with somebody who's on a different level than you're on career-wise. That it's much more important to network with people who are at the same level as you are. So if you're in LA and you don't have a body of work yet as an actor, go find the aspiring directors who are just starting to build a body of work. And those are the people you should work with.
There may be support organizations that you can join
whether they be to network, which is the best way in the world to get seen, by the way, and get to meet other people, and again, for a hopefully very few dollars, if any, create opportunities where you can continuously hone and refine and practice your craft.
Any professional associations, union or non-union, any actor or model should belong to them. There are organizations called Women in Film, ITVA, there's Screen Actors Guild. All of these organizations like to network, and I think that you need to know the business. You can't reinvent the wheel. You should already be making friends in the business. They will help you if you help them. Email has become a great thing, to email your friends as they travel maybe on to other locations to do acting. Stay in touch with them. What are they doing? What did they learn? Who are they studying with? What parts did they get?
Last but not least, we want to focus on marketing and setting up your home office.
Hi, I'm Kurt Nichols, and welcome to my home office. What I've gone and done here is I've gone ahead and converted an extra bedroom in my house into an office space. I try to treat my career like it's a business, and I need a business space. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and taken an old table here, and this is my post office. I've got my headshots, resumes, postcards. What I like to do is I try to get 5-10 of those out in a package during a week. I'll take my scale here and weigh them out, and then consult my charts here and get the correct postage on them, so I don't ever have to even go to the post office. This is my filing cabinet. I just went out and got an old $20 one. And, well, as you can see, I got a lot of files in here. It's important to be organized. I won't go through all of them, but I do keep some scripts and monologues in here. I keep the directions to all my old gigs that I've been to. And here I keep all my contracts. That's very important. And this is my acting book here. And what I've got, as you can see from the table of contents, is a couple things to help keep me organized, including my current agent list and my booking log, which, let me show you here, is basically just a listing of all the jobs I'm going to be currently doing and have done in the past. And as you can see here, it's got the audition job, the date, the location, wardrobe, and I guess most importantly over there, whether or not I've been paid.
I think you've really got to realize that nobody's going to appreciate or know that your product exists unless you're out there marketing. And that means determining who your audience is. That's most important. And by audience, I don't mean the audience you're performing for. I'm talking about the audience of your prospective employers. Are they advertising agencies? Are they producers who work for advertising agencies? Are they radio stations? Are they theme parks? Are they dinner theaters? Who are the people who are the decision makers? Develop a plan that will get your face and your name in front of these people on a frequent basis.
Now, probably 60% of my business comes from things that I do marketing-wise. I get business that way. I do things, a lot of mailers. I do a lot of internet things now. With the explosion of the internet, it's a very non-offensive way to get your name out in front of people. I have my own website, so I can just email somebody. I do searches for producers, production companies, email them, hey, take a look at my website, and that's it. If they choose to take a look at it, they can do that, and if not, they don't have to.
I keep a database of all of the people in the industry and keep them separated as far as actors, directors, photographers, people who are on the below the line, people that are above the line, different advertising agencies, production companies. Keep them all separate, and sometimes I'll alternate how I'm publicizing myself to each one of those individual groups slightly. But generally, they all get about the same information.
And that's, I think, the most important thing is by emails, by phone calls, but mainly by those postcards and the mail outs, is making people keep aware that you are a working actor and you're out there.
That picture is your marketing tool. That's the first thing that anyone sees before they see a demo tape or anything, is that 8x10. So the more the merrier. Some people are very specific when they say they want maybe one, that's okay. But it doesn't hurt anything to send 2 or 3. The worst thing they can do is put it in file 13.
I think demo reels are an absolute necessity for the actor. I truly do. And it's very hard to get actors to realize that this is part of their marketing strategy. They have to market themselves, not only to the agent, but to casting directors, but this is a tool for the agent to market them.
I think it's very important for an actor to put together a quality demo reel. To give you an example of how powerful I think it is, we actually cast a host position for a feature-length video we produced strictly based off the merits of their demo reel. I mean, they were able to bypass the entire audition process. It's pretty powerful.
It's important just to get yourself out there.
Like Doug said, just get yourself out there.
That's good advice, and I can add only one thing more from my own personal experience. There is no substitute for perseverance. If you are willing to work very hard, if you are patient and you're persistent, you will work as an actor.
Thanks for joining us, and
We'll see you
in the movies.
Don't leave yet. Sometimes the best part of the movie is the credits, especially when you and your friends are in them.
As you've noticed, this program contains a wealth of information, but for successful actors, there's always more to learn. Here's a list of invaluable resources that you'll want to take advantage of.
Good luck.
Most of the following books are available in your public library or at your local bookstore. How to Be a Working Actor. The title says it all. Promoting Your Acting Career includes a chapter on promoting yourself on the internet. There's Money Where Your Mouth Is, a guide to making money in voiceovers from an expert in the business. Teaching a Young Actor, a must for young actors and their parents. An Actor's Guide to Auditioning gives you tips on how to book more auditions. The Job Book. Now there's no excuse. This book describes 100 different paying acting jobs. How to Sell Yourself as an Actor, an A to Z book on how to market yourself. Acting in Television Commercials, written by an actor who has appeared in approximately 2,000 commercials. The Film Actor's Complete Career Guide, loaded with almost 300 pages of facts, checklists, and forms. Your film acting career contains a 50-page index with lists, phone numbers, and other resources. An Actor's Business covers marketing strategies in all different regions of the country. The Dialect Handbook, a step-by-step book which includes the dialect directory. An Actor's Guide to Chicago, an absolute must for any actor working in the Windy City. The Actor's Guide to Living in LA. This booklet is updated on a monthly basis. A necessary survival guide before you move to LA. The Fab Book lists all the info with mailing addresses that a Florida actor needs before the marketing process. Dallas Actors Handbook features over 800 listings for the North Texas actor. If you can't find any of the preceding books, you can now shop by telephone at the renowned Samuel French Bookshop. Backstage, required reading for an actor living in New York. Backstage West is a sister publication for actors in the LA area. The Florida Blue Sheet, this bi-weekly publication is used by all working actors in Florida. Also features a small section on Texas. Focus In, an award-winning newspaper serving Florida's entertainment industry. Kids Screen, a monthly international trade magazine covering the business of young teens and kids. The Call Sheet is available to subscribers of Perform Inc., both published for Chicago actors. Playback, a bi-weekly magazine covering all aspects of production throughout Canada. The Hollywood Reporter, for the business-minded actor who wants to keep abreast of the inner workings of the entertainment industry. Real Carolina, a monthly publication for serious actors in the Carolinas and Georgia. Ross Reports, mainly for New York and LA actors, but catch the special issues such as this one, which include a nationwide talent directory. ACTRA, the largest union in Canada. Check their website. AEA, referred to as Equity. This union covers actors doing theater and live industrial productions. AFTRA now covers new technologies such as interactive programming and CD-ROMs. Film Alliance, a great networking association. Check out their website for information on their sister organization, the Actors Alliance. FFI, a co-op group of over 1,000 shareholders who have pooled their money to produce film and television projects in Florida. FMPTA, the premier networking and education association to belong to in the Sunshine State. Film Florida, actors and industry professionals have joined together in this cooperative and innovative industry group. GIA, formerly known as the Italian Actors Union. Members have a directory service as well as casting and networking workshops. Hola, an organization committed to projecting Hispanic artists into the mainstream industry. The Models Guild, an international union formed to protect the rights of models. Screen Actors Guild, the largest and most powerful union that represents actors. Formed back in the 1930s, SAG has benefited actors in more ways than can be imagined. Stage, a nonprofit networking organization in North Texas. UDA, a powerful union representing French English performers in the Montreal marketplace. Women in Film, a nonprofit organization that boasts over 10,000 men and women members. WIF stresses networking and educational forums. Actors Exchange, a free service to exchange casting info, ideas, and acting tips with different actors around the world. Buzz NYC, an email-based interface to share info and get casting notices in the New York area. Also check out Buzz LA and their regional casting info. CastNet, one of the most popular and legitimate online casting services. Scriptorama, a great place to find a monologue. Production Hub, this new and unique web portal is a one-stop shop for film, video, and digital media production, with a special section dedicated to talent services. Two last resources if you live in a small market. Try PhotoScan for headshot duplication, composites, or postcards. They will be happy to send you a free price list. Also, if you are duplicating your video demo reel, try calling Aero American. They have the best pricing we've seen.
In addition to everything you've just learned, we've put a list of resources together that will enhance you.
Your ability to remember lines.
That's right. So good luck.
So they hire actors to make the training exciting and fun. I am so sorry if that is me.
95% of the composite cards we receive have no contact information whatsoever. Good afternoon, Focus. Hi, honey.
I went in there, I did this audition, you know, and I was holding this Jell-O box talking about Jell-O gelatin, and I just remember it was like this.
What's my motivation? Where am I at? What's my motivation here?
You're too weird to get a part in this video.
Too weird? I'm too weird?